I think about all the people that I've known in Los Angeles, and the people that are successful are the ones that stuck around.
Just go for the dream and don't let anybody tell you you can't do it.
I think one of the best pieces of advice I can give young people who are starting out is like, sometimes you just have to kind of get in there and see what's right for you, and then simultaneously be willing to kind of pivot and or evolve and shift, because the industry is continuing to evolve.
You know, people change, people evolve. And part of that evolution is also learning that if a certain thing doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. And if a certain thing doesn't seem like, okay, this is not what I'm used to, or this is not something I like or I'm comfortable with, doesn't necessarily mean it's bad for us. Sometimes it is the most exciting new discovery one will make.
I found that in the most stressful moments in producing, like, nothing good comes of like being frantic. Even when there's a problem, if you can come at it with some calm, take a minute, come up with an idea, and start to engage, like, I find people respond a little bit better.
Leading up to a project, you are always going to be insecure. Like, it's. I don't think I've ever had a project that I wasn't insecure about leading up to it. As long as you are prepared and you, have done all your research and feel really good about what you're doing, you're going to show up on set and you're going to nail it. You have to walk onto set and be like, nope, I actually do know what I'm doing.
I think the hardest thing as an actor is you just gotta grow thick skin, and it's not gonna get any easier. You know, when you find out you got cut and they decredited you, you don't have a credit anymore, or but you know, you go over that, and you just gotta know that, you know, this is part of the business. You just gotta keep on going.
Make sure the water, just kind of rolls off your back, because if it hits you, you're not going to make it. You just really have to build some kind of self strength.
Start to hone in on listening to your gut, and then don't stop trusting that instinct. As you start to train that muscle, that instinct muscle, like, really do listen to it, because it's what's gotten you to this point. In those key decision-making moments.
And also just the idea of keeping your sanity, keeping your life balanced. I think that's very important. And working with people who are nice.
Is there a secret to finding your creative community? I think it takes a lot of time is the secret, and a lot of patience and some putting yourself out there, which is really scary sometimes. I mean, yeah, you're making art, so you're bearing your soul on page or screen, and so it's just hard to do that. But I think it's kind of the most fruitful relationships that I've had.
I think that the great thing about filmmaking is that it's a collaborative art. So the more creative minds you can bring together, the final product can be that much greater. So yeah, I love working with people who not only like bring their own ideas, but can question my ideas and make me think more about the things that I want to do.
Give yourself the space to accept a compliment. I don't know if it's because we're artists or what, but we often think when somebody's complimenting us, there's something else behind it, or it's a half-truth. And I think that's so silly, and I think I've missed out on, some joy around work that I've done because I couldn't just take a compliment at face value. And I think we have to, because it's a hard industry, it's a hard business, and it goes through a lot of ups and downs, and so, you gotta relish the joy when it's coming your way.
Here's the thing about being good at your craft. You can own that, and here's what I mean. I was working on a movie not that long ago. I was writing a screenplay for a movie for a big franchise that I can't talk about. And I was writing the script, and then they decided not to make the movie, which is fine. But the producer kind of acted like I didn't know anything about what I was doing, which I thought was unnecessary. But it also didn't shake me, because I have lots of evidence that I do know what I'm doing. You can own it. You can say, well, I'm good. That thing didn't happen, but it doesn't take anything away from me.
If I could talk to my younger self, I would say, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You know, I waited so long to direct because I thought that I wasn't like good enough or I didn't know enough. And I wish somebody said, well, just do it so that you can start to know more and learn and do it. Just do it. Yeah, I hesitated a lot. I just didn't think I was ready, and I really wish I would have done that earlier.
I think the advice for my kid self is just be fearless, try a bunch of stuff, don't worry about what the end is, and just experiment and see what you can find. Be really curious.
Should you have a plan B for your career or just go with the filmmaking career? I would say just go with the filmmaking career because this is something that it is hard work. I will not sugarcoat that. It is hard work. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of preparation. So you can't do it half-hearted.
There is no plan B. And my coach, who I met years ago, who is a dear friend of mine, he said it once, and I listened, and I was very young, and he said, if you have a plan B, you're not gonna make it. He was talking to a class, and I thought, okay, there's no plan B. And I had that in my mind. I was like, oh, what if it doesn't happen, and this and that, and you just have those negative thoughts in your head, and you're like, no, I'm doing it. I love creating, and it's gonna happen sooner or later.
Go for your dream, go for that brass ring. Because you will always regret never having tried.
If I could give my younger self advice, I would say just, like the cliche, just do it. Just keep on pursuing full-headedness, doing your work, because it'll happen.